Fascism. Introduction. The term fascism is derived from the Latin word fasces, which means bundle. In ancient Rome, a bundle of rods with an axe was the sign of authority, which included the power of life and death. Fascism emerged in the 20th century as a reaction against liberalism and democracy. The term fascism was referred to Mussolini's political movement that ruled Italy from 1922 to 1943. That is the interwar period. The end of the First World War in 1918 and beginning of the Second World War in 1939. According to Mussolini, fascism was an ideology consisting of Machiavelli's opportunism, Hegel's political absolutism, Sorel's violence, and William James' pragmatism. Italy, after the First World War, was facing severe economic crisis. It was during this period that Mussolini and his fascist creed exploited the situation to further their own selfish ends. Mussolini realized that democratic nations and the League of Nations were toothless and would do nothing to prevent him from establishing his dictatorship. Fascism spread to Germany, Japan, East European and Latin American countries. During the Second World War, Italy, Germany and Japan were called the Axis powers. Mussolini believed that fascism would be a world movement and Italy would be the leader of the world. Mussolini's policy was ruthless suppression at home and imperialism and war abroad. Italy under Mussolini committed aggression on Ethiopia and conquered it. And it became bold because the League of Nations never took action against it and continued to commit aggression. And ultimately, in 1945, Italy had to surrender to the American armies. Basic features of fascism. The following are the basic principles of fascism. First one, state is an end. Fascism regards state as having a personality and a will of its own. Therefore, it is called the ethic state. They believed in the absolute sovereignty of the state and gave the state more importance than the individual. Fascism lays emphasis on the individual's loyalty to the nation through his feelings and actions. As Mussolini observed, the fascist state is not a night watchman concerned with only personal safety and object for guaranteeing material prosperity. Second, imperialism and war. Fascism was based on aggressive imperialism and war. It was against international peace and harmony. Lovers of peace and advocates of international goodwill and cooperation were regarded as cowards. In the words of Mussolini, Italian expansion is a matter of life and death. Italy must expand or perish. Under Mussolini's dictatorship, the Italians were made to understand that their country was too small and so they should wage war for expansion. So Italy was in a permanent state of war. War was glorified in the following way: war is to man what maternity is to women. He believed that war alone brings up to their highest tension all human energies and puts the stamp of nobility upon the peoples who have the courage to meet it. Third, supports corporate state. Mussolini converted Italy into a corporate state. The concept of a corporate state is based on the principle that members of the ruling party only are capable of understanding the problems of the people and the country. The ordinary citizens are incapable of comprehending or understanding the problems facing the nation and hence should remain silent. They can understand their problems not as citizens of Italy but as men following their own profession. That is, a farmer can understand the problems of farming and not the problems of the nation. The corporate state controls the economy of the whole country. Groups or associations are established, but they exist not for class competition but for national cooperation and national interest. Fourth, no belief in equality and liberty. Fascists have no faith in equality and liberty of individuals. Mussolini condemned the idea of liberty. In his words, liberty is a dead carcass. I kick it. Italy wants order and discipline and not liberty. Law and the state are the supreme manifestations of individual liberty. Fifth, fascism opposes socialism and communism. Fascists do not believe in Marx's materialistic interpretation of history, class and struggle, and theory of surplus value. They are of the view that the capitalist and the laborers should give up their selfish interests and work in the interest of the nation. The profits to be controlled and the wages of the laborers to be fixed by the state. Fascists have criticized the socialists for reducing man to the level of animals who care about food and clothes. According to fascists, besides food and clothes, there are other things like patriotism and loyalty which play a vital role in human life. Sixth, establishment of totalitarian state. All powers was vested in the fascist party and it gave all powers to the Jews. All aspects of life of the individual came under the control of the fascist state. The fascist motto was everything within the state, nothing against the state, nothing outside the state. The citizens gained true personality and freedom by merging himself with his family, church, and finally state. Thus, for the fascist, state is more important than individuals and public interest is more important than private interest. Seventh, against intellectuals and human values. Fascists wanted absolute obedience from all, like faithful dogs. They were against intellectualism. People cannot understand national problems, and their work is to have faith, to obey, and to fight. According to fascists, educated people talk unnecessarily and play with knowledge without understanding their own responsibilities. Sympathy, morality, love, understanding were absent in fascist philosophy. Eighth, one party state. All parties were ruthlessly suppressed by Mussolini, leaving no room for the existence of democracy and liberalism, thus leading to the establishment of a one-party state. According to fascists, democracy is the worst type of government and it is a decaying corpse, stupid, corrupt, slow-moving and impracticable and inefficient. Fascists ridiculed discussion and consultation and regarded parliaments as useless talking shops. For the fascist, political power must be in the hands of a few who regard national interest as their top priority. The other members of the fascist party have no right to criticize the leaders. Their objective was to perform their duties with sincerity. Political leaders should have the ability to inspire respect and obedience rather than win popular favor. People of Italy were instruments to be used at the will and pleasure of the fascist dictator. Merits of fascism. First point, proud. After the end of the First World War, Italy faced numerous problems. Fascism rescued her from demoralization. Mussolini raised hopes and expectations among the Italians to see their nation once again ancient Rome as the leader of the world. Demerits of fascism. First point, aggressive. Fascism is based on aggressive nationalism, imperialism, and war. Fascist Italy committed aggression on Ethiopia and made mockery of the principles of the League of Nations. They brought sufferings to humanity. Second, ruthless dictatorship. Fascists were against democracy. Mussolini broke down all democratic structures. For example, he abolished all political parties. Liberty and equality was rejected. According to MacIver, in one thing he showed consistency throughout his career was his contempt for democracy. Third, individual, tool of the state. Individual was a tool of the state. That is, individual's loyalty is to the state. Individual had no rights in a fascist state. Thus, it established a totalitarian state where the dignity of the individual personality was not upheld. Fascism misled the Italians by upholding false ideas, and Italy had to pay a heavy price for Mussolini's mistake.